Hi, here is a pretty quick little tutorial on drawing ellipses, sometimes called ovals. Technically, we're trying to think of this as an ellipse in that it's a circle in perspective. So this part of the this shape is actually we're trying to think of this as closer to the viewer, and this part a little bit farther away. Either way, the ellipse. Like a lot of things, I will start with a rectangle. And this is to clarify, this is just a quick way of thinking of an ellipse. Ellipses come in all sorts of directions, openings, everything from a true circle to technically a flat line. Anyways, this is the kind we're going to be coming across when we're trying to draw bowls and coffee cups and vases and that sort of thing. When we're a little bit above. But this is true for regardless. It's good to know, even if you're above or below. There's understanding how to create a pretty accurate ellipse is going to be the same. So for me, I started with that rectangle, and then I'm coming in with my bisecting center axis line. And I do want to make pretty sure that that's indeed in the middle. So I'm using my pencil. I think that's okay for now. It's kind of loose and sketchy. After that, I'm going to bisect the sides of this rectangle. Sketch a horizontal. Now here comes the tricky part. I do want to identify 4 marks. I want to identify the top and the bottom here, and the left and the right. And I know that the ellipse will touch those 4 points within this rectangular shape as well. The tricky part is learning how to create the curve that happens at the long axis. So what I am proposing is I like to start off by taking it in chunks. You can see I'm going, what am I going, counterclockwise. That's just a little bit more comfortable. But what I want to do is I want to make sure I don't stop at this point and create a point. I need to make sure that my line continues to go through, touches that space, but doesn't ever literally stop at that point, and I'm sort of fighting the arc as it is. Yeah, it's going to be more like that. So I do like trying to get a feel. It took me a while on that particular one. for going through this one side, and then I'm going to do a similar thing over on this side. And eventually I'm going to see this this ellipse, and I'm going to come in and strengthen that up. So that that was a decent chunk of time in just drawing an ellipse, right? It kind of was. I encourage you to take your time and try to understand the basics. When you start practicing these enough, they will come much more in a fashion where I would probably try to especially when you're just starting to sketch things in. Getting a decent ellipse is going to help you just sort of start sketching in something like a coffee cup. Can be kind of fun zen. When we continue on with other cylindrical things where there's an ellipse at the bottom as well, the back of which is going to be blocked by the item. And there's going to be a tendency to have the front part of this ellipse, of this bottom ellipse, too flat. There's a few theories on why that is. But there you have it. I encourage you to just try to do a bunch of these. You can do them even, you can do skinnier ones. So the rectangle and then bisecting. One of the things on this particular one I can tell as you start sketching it out and something doesn't seem right, what that's usually going to tell you is that this, you're bisecting, your rectangle is not quite true compared with the center axis. So that first one I had done, this side was a lot longer than that first side was along there. So as you start sketching this out and you realize something is amiss, awry, that's usually what the issue is going to be. So just step back and kind of measure things up and sketch it on in. See if I can do a skinnier one without let me check this one first. That seems come over there. You're certainly welcome to just sort of go for it as well. Think of getting up enough speed to try to see the implied ellipse just with the tip of your pencil. And I usually will make multiple passes and just refine as I keep going. That will take getting familiar with ellipses through a more sort of formal approach like this. But there you have it. Go do that a million times. Kidding aside, it'll be tricky and it'll probably be frustrating, and it takes doing these, just like everything else with drawing. It takes practicing the physical part of the skill over and over. You can understand intellectually what's going on here, but that doesn't translate into the physical skill of being able to do it. Okay.